Surrounded by the peaks of the Catskill Mountains, the small friendly town of Windham in upstate New York proudly shows off her stars and stripes for a very special weekend. Only a 3-hour drive north of buzzing New York City, one of the East Coast's most popular ski resorts proves that it doesn't take one single drop of snow to host a cool event. We are, of course, talking about round 5 of the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup presented by Shimano. After last week's stop in Canada, all the 4-cross riders packed their bags to fly home because this time it's downhill only here in America. It's the second year that Windham, which hosted a very successful World Cup final in 2010, has been chosen as a venue. Welcome to the Wild Wild West, East. And here is the All-American pride, current World Cup leader Aaron Gwin. After putting a camera on his bike, he gets ready to give us a Gwin's eye view.
Track starts off out of the start gate with a little bit of a pedal, and then you get straight into it. It's kind of techy up top, some steeper sections with a couple of kind of critical lines, and then it opens up onto the ski slope section. Just after that, that's probably my favorite section of the track. It's just real fast and open and grassy, and then ducks back into the woods again. Once you get back into the woods, you get back into some tighter corners again, and then down here into a little bit of a kind of muddy, rocky section that's new for this year, one of the few small changes they made from last year. And then into a roller section, and then you're pretty much into the first split, which is about a minute in over the step down jump. Then coming in towards, I guess, the middle half of the track, it flattens out a bit, and I really enjoy this section of the track. It's important to carry speed. There's a few jumps, and you kind of got to hit your lines, and I think a lot of time is made up in this section of the track. Then once you get through that, you kind of go across a ski run back into one pretty good fast rock section, and then you back out on the ski run for where the speed trap's at coming into the bottom. And that's just kind of get your tuck on and try to carry speed as good as you can. Hope there's not a headwind. After that, you just come into the finish line area. There's a pretty awesome flat landing jump off of this big old canister thing, and then a couple jumps and a bit of a pedal, and that's it. So it's a good track. It's short, you got to be on it, but it's definitely fun, something different.
Definitely a race worth watching. To present the downhill fans at home with an outstanding live feed involves many people and a huge satellite dish. Before the live commentators and viewers can look at the big picture on the screen, there's a long way to go. First of all, the live director and his production manager have to check out the whole downhill course on the map. After the best spots are chosen on paper, it's time to check them out.
We are walking the downhill track, doing kind of inspection to find the best spots for the camera position, that the sport looks fast, thrilling, with a lot of action. That's what we try to figure out here now.
Once they find a good spot, the TV director marks it by writing down the number of the camera position he has in mind.
We are here at one of the most spectacular parts of the downhill track. It's the rock garden, really fast, tricky, very technical. We expect here a lot of action, hopefully no injuries.
While the riders continue their training, the first parts for the TV crew is done. Now it's time for the real handiwork. Cables need to be pulled from the production station to every single camera position on the course. Unfortunately, the thick forest won't allow for the use of radio-transmitted devices. All right, time to set up the equipment. A special camera is used to bring the audience closer to the riders and to make watching the Mountain Bike World Cup even more exciting.
What you can see here is a pole cam. It's a lightweight camera crane with a remote head. You can capture the action very well, and now I will show you how to do it.
While filming, the operator needs to react quickly, not interfering with the rider's run. These are the pictures we get. Jumping straight to the women's race, French rider Sabrina Jounier just passes the pole camera. Meanwhile, the viewers at home can watch her run live on freecaster.tv with the pictures of the TV crew and the voice of one very notorious commentator.
On the gas, coming down the line. Jounier, 1.5 seconds up, then she takes the lead with a 2:58.906.
It's the voice of Rob Warner, Freecaster's legendary lead commentator. Joining him today as a guest is downhill rider Katie Holden, giving her expertise during the women's race.
Welcome to Windham in the USA for round 5 of the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup. We're about 3 hours drive north of New York. To prepare, I've got notes obviously that I take around with me and I update them every week. Go around the pits, talk to all the teams. You know, I raced for 15 years professionally, so I sort of know the sport inside out. Unfortunately, I've sort of become known for shouting, "Look at the time! Look at the time!" when anyone goes faster. And we were in New York in the week and we got bored, so I ended up having it tattooed on my bum as well. Got it, baby? Got it?
Meanwhile, the production manager provides the right pictures for the commentary booth. Right here is the heart of the live feed, which gets spread out to the whole world.
Here's where all the cameras run together. We have here the big screen with 6 cameras. This is the amount of cameras we have for this live production. One camera is pre-recorded, so we play it in a delay of 30 seconds that it looks afterwards as a coherent run. The most stressful thing is to catch up the riders, especially if you can't cover the whole track with cameras, to catch them up at the right time on the right position. This is always not so easy to calculate.
Jumping back to the women's race, and it's Emily Siegenthaler coming down through the rock garden. The 22-year-old psychology student has a solid run going on. Riding for Scott 11, the Swiss racer comes down to the finish line, placing herself just in front of Sabrina Jounier. Next on the track is American sweetheart Jill Kintner, who felt really good in practice but said she was a bit nervous racing in front of the home crowd. She is looking for her first podium placing in downhill, but the few big crashes she had in the previous week are also affecting her performance here a bit today. All right, back up to the starting gate, and we have French rider Emmeline Ragot riding for Team GR. Making that big gap look real easy and smooth. Heading into the forest section through the rock garden. Oh, and she has some trouble. She goes down doing a header over the bars. No damage done. She picks up the bike right away, gets right back on, but that is going to destroy any chance of her taking over the hot seat here today.
A little bit of trouble to do here across the finish line of the time of 3 minutes, .373. 3 minutes.
Another French rider, Myriam Nicole, is on course, having her best season of her young career so far and looking very, very strong. A bit of a slow start here out of the gate. However, she tends to be a little bit faster through the technical sections. Looking good right there. She goes by the pole cam. Great action from Tobias. Down through the big plate, heading towards the finish line. And look at this time. What's it going to be? Whoa! She is a good 4 seconds faster than Emily Siegenthaler. That means Myriam Nicole takes over the hot seat. Okay, our next rider up is the one to fear. Tracy Moseley had a terrible season last year. However, she did become world champion in Mont Saint Anne, and ever since then, she has dominated the field of women's downhill racing. She is a very, very strong-willed competitor with fantastic fitness, coming now through the rock garden. Let's watch how clean she gets through this area. Look at that, just as smooth as butter. Super strong, as I said, and a very good pedaler. This section right here requires a little bit of windage, and there again by the pole cam going for this big drop. Tracy Moseley looking good. She should have a great time after this run. Will she take over the hot seat from Myriam Nicole? Let's see. She's on the pedals hard. The last jump, heading towards that finish line, and it is going to be close, but she does it.
Made a pretty big mistake in the middle and lost a lot of speed on the flat where you really need to carry and put some pedals in, and just hesitated there. So rode some bits pretty happy with, but just you had to get a full run here, and I mean to not make a mistake is going to win here. So I'll be happy if I stay in a good spot, but I think it's not enough for today.
Next rider to come is last year's winner of this event, Rachel Atherton. She had her phenomenal comeback here in Windham 12 months ago after her shoulder injury. Is this her lucky day and her lucky track once again? Let's see, looking good over that jump right there. Coming down into the wooded section, she is on the wheels real nice and solid. Puts one foot down real quick to maintain some support there, and through the rock garden. Let's see how she handles this area right here. Beautifully, also super smooth, just like Tracy Moseley, getting through there very, very nicely. The difference here, Atherton on the pedals as much as she possibly can. We saw Tracy Moseley tucking this section right here, and you can also already see that Atherton is quite a bit faster than Moseley. Past the pole cam, heading towards the bridge. She's going to drop this one clean, and she's on it again, getting on the pedals, trying to keep as much speed towards that finish line as possible. It's the last sprint down to the finish, and here comes that final jump and the last stretch to the finish line, and it's going to be Atherton definitely taking over the hot seat. The big question now is, can Floriane Pugin deny Atherton's first World Cup win in 2011? The French girl in yellow is the last rider to go down the track as the fastest one from the time trial qualifications, and she's looking real good so far. Here comes the rock garden. That's given a few girls a bit of trouble today, and man, she is quick through there, making it look like it's another Sunday ride in the park. Here we come towards the split time. Floriane Pugin on the pedals, but she's a second back of Rachel Atherton at the moment. She really needs to make up that time if she wants to be on the top of the podium. Can she do it? She needs to really get on the pedals here, and there she goes. She's on top of the pedals for the last sprint and the last jump towards the finish line, and it is going to be very tight. Let's see if she managed to do it. No, she does not do it. She is 1 second back of Rachel Atherton, who is going to be the winner here for the ladies this weekend.
I'm absolutely ecstatic, you know. I love this track here. It's short, which is good, you know, if you haven't got much strength, and it's dry, really dry, and I knew the girls would be so fast, so, you know, I've got nothing to lose, like third overall in the series, so I thought, you know, I'm not in for a win, so I'm finally happy to be in the number one.
Rachel Atherton celebrates her first World Cup win after 12 months with her fans waving the English flag. It's Pugin in second place, Moseley third, Nicole in fourth, and Siegenthaler standing on the podium for the first time in fifth. No changes in the top three in the current World Cup standings. Moseley still in the top spot, followed by Pugin in second and Atherton in third. The American crowd is waiting for their biggest pride, and we're not talking about burgers. Pump your fist, boys and girls. The audience is cheering for one of the best American downhill riders in history, Aaron Gwin. And nobody knows him better than his own parents, his mother Tanya and his father Alan, who spills out some of the secrets about his rather famous son.
Actually, you know what? He didn't win his first race because the guy in second place crashed, and Aaron had done a turn and was coming back and saw that the kid had crashed, and he stopped and pulled over and helped him up and, you know, got him back on his bike. There was a time there between when he stopped racing motocross because of the injuries and when he picked up mountain bikes. There was about, I don't know, maybe, what was it, a couple of years? You know, he played a little tennis, and which was kind of, you know, he played tennis, and it didn't take very long when, you know, a friend of ours who was a coach at a junior college said, you know, you could probably be a pro.
We gave Aaron Gwin and his teammate Justin Leof a camera to film their mad ventures in between World Cups.
So do you think a dude who's leading the World Cup points, it's a good idea to be learning a gainer and hucking off a 25-foot waterfall?
It's a really good idea.
It's just water.
lot of people, they talk about, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. He don't talk a whole lot. He just goes and does it.
It's a German accent.
Oh, look at that. Oh, they're gonna love that shot.
We're supposed to do an intro for these videos. Like, hi, we're at the Quebec airport checking in on our way to New York.
Sweet, you just did it.
Well, we jump straight into the race with one of Aaron Gwin's biggest competitors on the track, South African rider Greg Minnaar. After a wrist injury in Mont Saint Anne last week, he is not in top form, only qualifying in 13th place, but you know Greg Minnaar is going to put everything he possibly can down on this track. The South African is back at the split time, but not by much, and we've seen him do some miraculous things with that bike as he comes over the bridge drop, last sprint towards the finish line, and he crosses over in second place, but he is still back of the time of Fabien Barel.
I didn't really feel confident this whole week, and I'm suffering a bit from last week's crash, so it was good, it was solid, and I've got to be happy with it.
Flying over the rock section is the next rider on track, Minnaar's fellow countryman, South African rider Andrew Neethling. Andrew also super strong. The two practice quite a bit together. The difference here is Neethling is definitely feeling this track. He is a good 2 seconds faster than Fabien Barel as he comes through that split time, the last sprint to the finish. Here we go. Is he going to take over the hot seat? More than likely, and he does. Top spot for Neethling, the new hot seat leader, with 2 seconds faster than Barel's time. At the start, now needing no further introduction, is mountain bike legend Steve Peat from Great Britain, riding for the Santa Cruz Syndicate, and I think that was probably the best thing that's ever happened to him with the change to that team a couple of years back. 3-time World Cup winner, and the boy has got some skills still in his old age. Through the rock garden, no problems at all, letting the back end of the bike just wish and wash back and forth, maintaining some great speed. Steve Peat's a pedaler, and here we go. He is faster so far at the split time. He is just a hair under 1 second faster. And look at this, past the pole cam, over the bridge, and he is on top of that bike, digging into that corner, trying to get every ounce he can out of the bike. Small mistake right there. That's not going to cost him too badly. Let's see how he does across the finish line. And he moves into the top spot by just a 0.08 of a second. Wow, great run from Petey.
I'm really nervous. I know Gwinn is on fire at the moment, so it's going to be really hard to beat him. I didn't have a very good top, so I expect him to beat me on the split, and I don't know, all I can do is wait. I don't know.
Next rider to drop in, 15 years younger than Steve Peat, we have Kiwi rider Sam Blenkinsop at the starting gate, starting for the Lapierre International team. Blinky doing a little bit of style off of that drop right there as he heads in towards the wooded section and the rock garden. And look at this, hops down over the rock garden like it's not even there, even putting in a little bit of style through that section. Doing it for the fans on the sidelines. But unfortunately, that style isn't making him any faster. He's a solid 2 seconds back at the split time here on this very short course. Blenkinsop tends to be a little bit faster on the longer courses. He's a very fit rider. Last sprint to the finish area, and he really needed to put it down, but at the moment he's got third place with 2 seconds off pace. So far, Steve Peat, the current hot seat leader, is still safe, and we've got another young gun at the start trying to push the British dinosaur off the hot seat. Canadian Steve Smith starting for the new Canadian team, Da Vinci Global Racing, and he's making his way down the track, heading into the forested section, and again, through the rock garden. Oh, but he had a little bit of trouble dislodging one of the rocks. Looks like he might have gone over the front of the bars there if he had been just a little bit farther forward. He's also back by 1 second. Steve Smith flying over that jump right there and down into the lower part of the track on the pedals. Can he make up that second in the last sprint to the finish? He's giving it everything he's got. Final jump coming up for the Team Da Vinci rider, and he's going to cross that finish line in third place. Also a second off pace. Steve Peat still safe on the hot seat. All right, next up, Danny Hart from the UK, a very small rider, but he's had some big results this season with some seriously insane runs down some of these courses. And here, he too almost loses it over the bars. You can see his elbow just bending down pretty hard there. At the split time, he's also back 1 second off of Pete's time, the last sprint to the finish, and he is back in 5th place, 2 seconds off pace. Steve Peat still safe. All right, in the gate, Aaron Gwin's teammate Justin Leof from New Zealand riding for Trek World Racing. One of the other guys with the camera that we saw earlier on. A little bit of style too off the Scott jump. He comes down towards this wooded section, and let's see how he manages through the roots and rocks. No problem for him. Justin Leof looking real strong on the pedals, pumping every small roller that he possibly can on his Trek bike. Heading towards this wooded section here, gets through, passes the pole cam, off the bridge. Wow, that was a big, long jump. That might have cost him. Let's see how Justin does coming towards the finish line. And he is 1 second off pace as well, back in 4th place. This young man is half the size and half the age of Steve Peat. The youngest rider in the field, current junior world champion Australian Troy Brosnan on track. And boy, I tell you, this kid has got some serious talent. No foot check in that corner, heading towards the rock garden, looking real good. And the skills on this guy, wow, I have to say, very, very impressive. Past the pole cam, over the bridge, and across the finish line. 6th place for Brosnan, 2 seconds off pace, but a good showing for the youngster. At the starting gate now, Brooke McDonald's from New Zealand, the new kid on the block, 2009 Junior World Champ, had a great season this year so far with some pretty decent results, taking the outside line right there through that muddy section, down through where our split time comes up. Let's see where he sits now. He's 1.286 seconds back of the lead time, and that belongs to Steve Peat at the moment. Coming for that last sprint. Boy, he is really on the pedals. The last jump for Brooke McDonald, and he moves into 4th place. 1 second off pace here as he crosses the finish line. And we've got only 2 more riders to go, and this is one of them, the 2010 World Cup champion, G. Atherton from the UK, riding for Commencal. Looking good over the Scott jump. Nice clean jump, no styling it out, just going for efficiency here as he heads to the woods and the rock garden. Absolutely no problem for G right there as he goes through the rock garden. G. Atherton, he's off pace by 2 seconds here, passing the pole cam and over the bridge. Oh, but he has a big slide out on the landing off of that bridge, and that's going to cost him even more time as he heads toward the finish line. G. Atherton in 10th place, going to be disappointed with that. All right, there's just one man left on top of the mountain who could take an incredible win away from Steve Peat. He has made such a splash in the sport. American rider Aaron Gwin riding for the Trek World Racing Team, and he styles it out with a little bit of a turn down whip over the Scott jump. He is looking real good, and boy, I tell you what, he has just got everybody shaking their heads as to how fast he rides over the rock garden, looking like a Sunday drive for him as well. No problems. Aaron Gwin styling it out and speedy as heck. Look at this at the split time. He's 2 seconds faster than Peat. You know, Pete's got his finger in his mouth down there in the finish area, chewing those nails, passing the pole cam with a clip over the jump on the bridge, and he has got a good landing right back on the pedals. Aaron Gwin looking super solid towards the finish line. The fans on the sideline absolutely freaking out. It's going to be his race as he crosses the finish line 2 seconds faster than Steve Peat. Aaron Gwin wins it. Nicely done.
I think this is the win of my life so far, man. It's so cool racing in front of the home crowd and everybody here, and my parents are here. I couldn't ask for more, man. It was so good.
To the chance of the USA. Here are the top 5 riders from Windham, with a very proud Aaron Gwin in 1st place and a real sensational run. Steve Peat and Andrew Neethling, 2nd and 3rd place, are standing on the podium both for the first time this year. In fourth place, we have Steve Smith, McDonald in fifth, and Leov with his best result in sixth. Looks like no one can catch him anymore. Aaron Gwin continues to dominate the top of the World Cup standings. Menard second, Atherton third, and Hart fourth. We say goodbye, North America, as the World Cup circuit moves back to Europe for the next round in La Bresse. Vive la France! Don't miss it!